Welcome to this explainer. Today we're looking at the 1922 Hinterkaifeck Murders. And let me tell you, it's easily one of the most chilling, well-documented historical cases we've ever covered. We're talking about the true, factual story of an absolute stranger secretly living inside an isolated family's home. Let's unravel exactly what happened here.
Now, I want you to imagine something for a second. What if a stranger was living in your attic? Seriously, picture yourself in your isolated home, you're feeling perfectly safe, only to realize that an intruder has been secretly living right above your head for days, just watching you from the shadows, waiting for the absolute perfect moment to strike. I mean, it sounds exactly like a horror movie plot, right? But as you'll see through the documented evidence, this actually happened to a real family.
So the year is 1922, and we are in Hinterkaifeck. It's this incredibly remote area in Germany. This is where a man named Gruber lived with his family. And, the environmental factors here are actually absolutely crucial to understanding this case. Picture this, an isolated wooden farmhouse completely surrounded by a dense, foggy pine forest. It's a dark winter setting, and the ground is covered in this thick, crisp layer of white snow. And, well, that snow, that actually became the canvas for our very first piece of terrifying evidence.
Okay, let's dive into this. Part 1. Footprints in the snow. The first warning. Days before anything violent actually happened, Gruber made a really disturbing discovery. He found a set of fresh, heavy boot footprints in the snow outside his home. And these tracks, they led directly from the edge of that dark pine forest straight to his house. But here's the terrifying part. He realized there were absolutely zero footprints leaving the farm. Someone had walked in, sure, but they literally never walked out.
And the horror didn't stop outside in the snow. That very same night, the family was just inside their home when they heard it. Heavy, rhythmic footsteps echoing from the wooden attic right above their heads. Obviously, you can imagine the sheer panic. Andreas immediately searched the entire house, top to bottom, to find the source of the noise. But his thorough search revealed absolutely nothing. He had no idea that his worst enemy was already inside, literally living right above him, in the ceiling.
Part 2. Night of the Slaughter, March 31st, 1922.
You see, this wasn't just some random sudden attack. It was a clear, premeditated escalation. It started days prior with those mysterious footprints in the snow, evolved into those terrifying attic noises on night 1, and then culminated on the fatal date, March 31st, 1922. That was the night the hidden intruder finally stepped out of the shadows.
Sometime late that night, 4 members of the family were mysteriously lured out of the main house and into the farm's rustic wooden barn. And waiting for them in the pitch-black darkness was the intruder who had been hiding in their own house for days. He was armed with a heavy, sharp farming tool, a pickaxe, and right there in that dark barn, he brutally attacked them, one by one.
The killer showed absolutely no mercy. There were 6 victims in total. This included the head of the household, Gruber. But tragically, it also included a totally helpless 2-year-old boy and, perhaps one of the most unfortunate victims of circumstance in this entire case, their newly hired maid. She had literally just arrived at the house to start her job only hours before the killer struck. Just awful timing.
Part 3. The Ghost Tenant. A mind-bending twist.
Now, this is where things get truly bizarre. After slaughtering the entire family, the killer didn't run away. No, he stayed. He literally lived alongside the bodies for 3 whole days. He maintained this totally methodical routine. He cooked food for himself in their kitchen, he went out to feed the farm animals, and he even deliberately kept the fireplace lit so that natural-looking smoke would keep coming out of the chimney. I mean, this was a highly calculated move just to fool the neighbors into thinking everything was perfectly normal at the Gruber farm.
But of course, an entire family can't just go unseen forever, right? By the time the townspeople finally grew suspicious, came out to check on the farm, and discovered the horrific scene, while the ghost guest had completely vanished into thin air. He had just slipped away, leaving behind nothing but the silent, isolated farmhouse.
Part 4. An enduring mystery. The investigation.
100. To put that into perspective, that is how many suspects law enforcement interrogated after this massive investigation was launched. When the police finally discovered what happened at Hinterkaifeck, it shocked the entire world. They scoured the area, they followed up on every single lead regarding those footprints, the attic, the weapon, the whole shebang. But despite this massive number of interrogations, to this very day, the killer's identity remains a total mystery.
Which leaves us with the ultimate question. Who was the phantom in the attic? Who was the person who left those single-direction footprints in the snow, hid in the ceiling above a family, and then committed the perfect crime before vanishing completely? It's a question that has gone unanswered for over a century. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. I really hope this structured look at the evidence has been as fascinating for you as it was for me to put together. Stay alert, keep analyzing the facts, and always keep questioning the impossible.